Uh, we are back, students. Sorry, from some reason, some technical issue, the video got stopped. So now we are start with next method of preparation of aryl halides is the Sandmeyer reaction. As we know, if one of the hydrogen of a benzene get replaced by NH2 group, then it is known as aniline. If aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 plus hydrogen halide like HCl or HBr or HF or something else, aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 sodium nitrite plus hydrogen halide, then it will give benzene diazonium halide. This one is benzene, N2 plus group is known as diazonium group, and X minus is halide. So benzene diazonium halide. If we are using HCl here, then benzene diazonium chloride. If we are using HBr, the benzene diazonium bromide. The reaction is highly exothermic in nature. That's why the reaction took place at very low temperature, as mentioned here, 273 to 278 Kelvin. As we know, 273 Kelvin equals to 0 degrees Celsius. So 278 Kelvin is equals to 5 degrees Celsius. So the reaction is proceed at very low temperature, 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. At 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, when aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 plus HCl, it would give benzene diazonium halide. This is the first step of Sandmeyer reaction, and the same for the Gattermann reaction. Now, if the benzene diazonium halide is allowed to react with cuprous halide, Cu2X2, cuprous, that means copper has a power +1, oxidation number of copper is +1. The halogen would be chlorine or bromine, so cuprous chloride or cuprous bromide. Then this diazonium group gets substituted by the halogen, and we would have aryl halide. If halogen is chlorine, then the chlorobenzene. If halogen is bromine, then the bromobenzene. The reaction is known as Sandmeyer reaction. In case of Gattermann reaction, the benzene diazonium chloride react with copper powder plus Hi or HCl. That means if in place of cuprous halide, if we use copper powder plus Hi or HCl, then it is known as Gattermann reaction. The first step of the both reaction are same, but in second step in Sandmeyer reaction we are using Cu2X2 cuprous halide. In Gattermann reaction we are using copper powder plus HX hydrogen halide. This way we can have chlorobenzene and bromobenzene. If we want to form iodobenzene, then this benzene diazonium chloride would react with Ki. If benzene diazonium chloride is allowed to react with potassium iodide Ki, then it would give iodobenzene. So by this method we can also have fluorobenzene, but the reaction is somewhat different, and the reaction is known as Balch-Szyman reaction. We move to the previous section, this one. When aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 plus HX, then we will have benzene diazonium chloride. In place of HX, if we are using HBF4, hydrogen fluoroborate. In place of HX, we are using HBF4, hydrogen fluoroborate. So when the aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 plus HBF4, then finally they both react and give benzene diazonium fluoroborate. In place of X minus, there is BF4 minus. In place of X minus, there is BF4 minus. Again I repeat, if NaNO2 plus we are using HBF4 in place of HX at very low temperature and allowed to react with aniline, then the benzene diazonium fluoroborate would be formed. In benzene diazonium fluoroborate, the same it is the same structure than the benzene diazonium halide. In place of X minus, there is BF4 minus. If this benzene diazonium fluoroborate is heated simply, then it will give fluorobenzene, and the reaction is known as Balch-Szyman reaction. So by using aniline, we could have chlorobenzene, we could have bromobenzene by Sandmeyer or Gattermann reaction. If we are using Ki in place of cuprous halide, then we would have iodobenzene. If we are performing Balch-Szyman reaction with aniline, then we would have fluorobenzene. I repeat, the Balch-Szyman reaction is the reaction in which aniline is allowed to react with NaNO2 plus HBF4 at very low temperature. So the intermediate benzene diazonium fluoroborate In benzene diazonium fluoroborate, there is BF4 minus in place of X minus. And when this benzene diazonium fluoroborate is heated simply, it would